This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. Don't mistake the new me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the whole team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster along, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. You probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard time, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The whole team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright. And you know I done seen things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh.
All right, what up, dude? All right, we good. What's up, y'all? What's good, man? Happy Monday, February 10th. You can see I don't have Spike Kool-Aid in the title right now. Man, listen, I was not going to get on until I was debating on whether I was going to get on now after the Super Bowl. The original plan was not to take a break, but I was kind of, I needed to take a break. I was emotional, like not because I was emotional, but because of what this team had done to me physically. I need to take a break. I decided to take a little bit of a break from this channel here. And the goal was to come back today. Then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll wait a little while longer. And but after the performance by the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday, I decided to come back today. So if you're following me, it was going to be a break. I said, okay, I'll come back after the Super Bowl. First, it was undetermined. Then I was like, okay, I'll come back after the Super Bowl, but I won't tell anybody. That way, if I don't want to come back, then I was like, well, the team had me in shambles. I was like, well, maybe I'll come back March 1st when it's something to talk about. But we got something to talk about, and we're going to talk about it. But Bonzilla in the building. What's up, Braylon? What's going on? Bobby says lunch break was trash till now. What's up? What's up, David? What's going on, Bonzilla? What's up, Sergey, Tyrell, Aaron Smith, Dolo Dynamite? What up, what up, what up? Says Brad better draft good because Browns just said they're not trading Myles Garrett. Bonzilla says, thank God the season is over. Braylon says, I'm glad I went live today. I watched that game. That D-line absolutely destroyed Kansas City. Hey, Blitz, did you see Patrick Mahomes pregame on his way to the stadium that let you know the Eagles was about to win? I did not see that. What's up? What's up, David? Man, we got some stuff to talk about today. And before we get started, I got to put a disclaimer out there. This is going to be a different year for me. And let me tell you what I mean. We came from the Matt Patricia era, and we were in a believe it or not, the Lions used to be where negativity sold. 5 years ago in this space, negativity sold, positivity, nobody cared. I think they couldn't get past the negative. So as stuff like SOL, rents, those type of things would sell. Then we get Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. They do a tremendous job in a short time. And now positivity sells. People hate negativity when it comes to the Lions. And I understand that. And yeah, people can be too negative. But what I think we need to realize and not confuse, criticism is different from negativity. Holding a team accountable is different from negativity. And that's what you're going to see from me this year. And not that I haven't been doing it, but I'm going to be relentless about this team. There's only a few people that keep it all the way 100. 100. And I'm going to shout the other one out. His name is Spirit of Detroit Podcast. He keeps it 100%. No disrespect to other creators, but I think that they don't give you 100% of how they feel because they are going to alienate you. And they don't want to do that. I don't want to do it either, but I don't have a choice. Our team, we got a rude awakening this season. We got a very rude awakening. What's up, Jacob? Jack Sweet made a lot of money for himself. Derek Patrick Mahomes wearing green suit. Hey, Derek, did you see we might get Philly on the road season opener? Yeah, I did see that. Braylon says, go off, Derek. Tell them what they need to hear. Well, here's the thing, B. And I think that, I don't know about y'all, but this is going to be the longest offseason, I think, ever for me. I thought, last offseason flew past, even though you had all that pain at the end of the season. The offseason flew past. This offseason for me is going to drag. And I think that we have to be honest with ourselves. And we're going to learn a lot about Brad Holmes this offseason. We're going to learn a lot about the Detroit Lions this offseason. And I want you to understand that things might not be the same. And I had to make a decision today. I had a lot of dopamine. I had a huge dopamine rush last night. I've been feeling like garbage since we lost. Real talk. And I had to ask myself, Derek, why do you care about this team so much? Why is this team affecting you? I'll be 46 this year. I have to be careful. Irv Gotti passed away since we've been on. He had a stroke. He probably has some other medical issues as well. But I started getting fearful. Yo, Derek, you hear somebody younger than you pass. You hear about somebody a little bit older than you pass. You hear about somebody 10 years older than you pass. And you're like, yo, I got to start being careful. And the way this team affected me physically after the loss against the Washington Commanders, I said, Derek, you got to chill, right? So I went to bed last night, had a huge dopamine rush. I woke up this morning feeling like garbage. And so I could tell that I crashed down. And I'm going to tell you why I felt like garbage. The Philadelphia Eagles showed yesterday how you get things done. The Lions we are not the team that we thought we were. We're not. We're not the team. What you're going to hear from me this year is realistic takes. I don't think I've been unrealistic, but my critical level of this team has been turned up. If it was at 5, it's now at 8.5. It's at a 9. The Philadelphia Eagles, if you look back and you see what they were able to do, you really start to wonder, can the Detroit Lions complete the task? I do not think we beat the Philadelphia Eagles like we thought we would have. Yesterday was a rude awakening. I feel like that defensive line would have absolutely destroyed our O-line. That's just 100%. So let's talk about it. Joey Galloway in the building. What's up, big dog? Says that was one of the most impressive D-line performances I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. Jacob says we need an edge first before a DT. David says, I knew it as soon as that game ended. I posted we will be on the road week 1 in Philly. Well, David, it's not official yet. We won't know until they might release that a little bit early. But remember when we played the Kansas City Chiefs, they released it earlier that day. So we won't know for sure for months. We're talking about a solid 3 months, but that's probably, I did hear some speculation about that. Bobby says, I bet we open the season against the Eagles. And if seeing a second Super Bowl banner drop for another team don't wake us up, I don't know what I like that. Hey, Derek, after seeing the Chiefs and Eagles game, kind of reminded that the Lions game was against the Commanders pretty bad for the Chiefs. What's up, Joseph? We're going to sign Aiden or some big contract, and then he'll get injured again. So let's talk about it. The Detroit Lions, haven't seen me in a while. The Detroit Lions season ended on the 18th of January. So it's been just over 3 weeks. I feel a lot better than I did before. But something that was brought to my attention for Super Bowl 59. I did not watch a single snap of it. I was true to my word. I said I wasn't going to watch it. I didn't watch it. And they brought out a stat that I just found out last night. Of course, because I didn't watch it, I had to find out. The Eagles were able to sack Patrick Mahomes. Not only sack him, but keep him under pressure all night long. Here's the stat that blows my absolute mind. And this is how, if you're Brad Holmes, you have to do something about this. Not every D-line can be the Eagles' D-line. Howie Roseman has drafted phenomenal. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Two guys that can clog up the middle. Josh Sweat outside. At one time, they had Hassan Reddick. But here's the part that's going to blow your mind. The Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59, according to, from what I've been told, did not blitz one time. One time in Super Bowl 59. They were able to disrupt Patrick Mahomes with the front four. You know how awesome that is? You know how hard that is? And here's where I'm going to differ from every other Detroit Lions YouTube creator in this space, outside of a certain network. I am going to hold one person accountable this offseason. I don't care what he's done for my team heading into this year. Brad Holmes is going, everything falls on him. I don't want to hear about Jared Goff. I do not want to hear about Aaron Glenn. I do not want to hear about Dan Campbell. Everything falls on Brad Holmes. There's an individual who is in year 3. We might talk about him. We've talked to him. We've talked about him numerous times on this channel. His name is Broderick Martin. Aleem McNeil is not going to start the season. Broderick is in year 3. You would expect him to start, right? If he doesn't, what are we doing? So you drafted a guy, top 100, who probably would have been undrafted. And I don't want to pick on him. This is not a pick. This isn't even about Broderick Martin. This is about the fact that we took him when we could have used anybody else. Why would you say, Derek, doesn't make any sense, man? Why are you so critical of the man that this is the best GM the Lions have ever had? We just came off a 15-win season. And where did that get us? Out of the playoffs in our first game. It also got us to 0 sacks, the only team in the National Football League playoffs to not record a stat. You don't believe me? Go look it up. There's a reason for that. Now, you're going to say that we had 18 players on injured reserve. That would be a fact. But you weren't saying that when we were winning 15 games. See, while we were winning, it was cool. The minute we lost, now we got an outlet. Now we got an excuse. If we go look at our D-line in free agency and the draft, we're going to take out year 1 because year 1, Brad and Dan, their hands was tied. We still had Trey Flowers on the books, paying people. Didn't have a lot of draft picks, and we got some dogs. We got St. Brown. We took Derek Barnes. We took Panay Sewell, foundational pieces of this team. If you go outside of that, look at the draft. We also took Levi in the 2nd round. If you go beyond that draft, you've got Aiden Hutchinson, the best pick, in my opinion, outside of Panay Sewell. If you had an offensive anchor and a defensive anchor, Panay Sewell, defensive anchor, Aiden Hutchinson. Let's focus on the D-line. Let's include free agency as well. In year 1, we're not going to count that. 2021, we're not going to count that. 2022, what did we do? Free agency, I don't even remember. That's how irrelevant it was. We take Aiden Hutchinson because for some reason the Jacksonville Jaguars decided to pass on him. We then take Josh Paschal as part of the Matthew Stafford, Jameson Williams thing. We take him in the 2nd round. Outside of Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson, can you name a bigger impact brought in free agency or the draft on the defensive line? You can't. In 2023, when we went to the NFC Championship game, you know who was on the team, on the D-line? Can you name anybody on the D-line not named Aiden Hutchinson or Aleem McNeil? John Kaminsky, Charles Harris, Romeo Okwara, Julian Okwara. That's our defensive line. And some other guys you probably can't even name. We saw what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do yesterday. And guess what they did? See, you want to talk about Brad Holmes and this building through the draft, and he's done that. But he has not done it properly on the defensive line. Jordan Davis, draft pick. Jalen Carter, draft pick. He's too much of a troublemaker for us. Now, whether or not he fits on the Detroit Lions, that's not for me to decide. Brad knows that. Dan knows that. They chose to pass on him. Now, we also got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. We get those guys. But look at the D-line. You can't name anybody. No impact players. No impact players outside of Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. And Aleem McNeil was a third-round pick. He's exceeding expectations. You know who else was a third-round pick? Broderick Martin. You know who else was a third-round pick? Kirby Joseph. You know who else was a third-round pick? Ife Melifonwu. All of those guys have made a bigger impact than Broderick Martin in years that we have needed a defensive line. I have done all the talking. I have been emotional, but I have also been right. And now it's up to Brad Holmes to fix this team and fix this D-line. Offense is set. We might take a step back because we lost our coordinator. Maybe. I say offense, if it was at 100% last year, it's at 90. They can pick up pretty easy. That defense, though. And you know what? You know what else? I might have to eat crow. I might have to cut Aaron Glenn a ton of slack. Because you see what a legit defensive line could do. This guy had to blitz secondary players on a consistent basis just to get pressure. I'll leave you with this. Who led the team in sacks for the Detroit Lions in 2024? Aiden Hutchinson. You know how many he had? 7.5. You know how many days he had missed when the Lions season ended? Over 90. And he still led the team. Part two of that question. Who was the second team leader in sacks on the team? You know his name? Zadarius Smith with 4. So if you do the math, 7.5 from a guy that had missed 90 days, 4 from a guy who got there halfway during the season. You know who the next two were? Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader. After that, there were linebackers. The proof is in the pudding. Brad Holmes has a lot of work to do. And if he does not do it right, we are not winning the Super Bowl. That's what you're going to get from me this year. No more fluff. I didn't give you fluff. I gave you what I thought was true. But now it's not. It's not. And I can't even say I thought it was true because I've been screaming about the D-line forever. Let me know what you think. All right, I missed two super chats. We got Adam with the dono. His 20th super chat says Hutch has been here for 3 years and has needed help for 3 years. Holmes has refused to get him compliment help for 3 years. To me, nothing will change. Adam, bro, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Thank you for your 20th super chat. That's amazing. Chicago. David, he super chatted. He's allowed to talk unless he's trolling. So, Chicago, what did you say? That's the rule. That's the rule. If you're a Chicago Bears fan, you have to pay to talk on this channel. All right. So Mackenzie says, being honest, we need 3 DEs. We have no depth. And that's, Mackenzie, why now the proverbial stuff is about to hit the fan. It's about to hit the fan. I woke up this morning. I had all this dopamine last night I think it was from being right. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on the internet, I'm getting talked about, I'm getting mocked, I'm getting ridiculed, and it is what it is, right? It's part of the business, but it takes its toll on you. Sometimes it's a little tough, but you see stuff. You see stuff, and it's like, all I'm doing is following the numbers. Oh, you can't talk about Brad Holmes. Oh, Brad Holmes has done an amazing job. All that stuff is, yeah, that's true. But what has been the constant? The constant has been his D-line. And there's going to be a guy named Josh Sweat who's going to be available. He's going to command probably almost $20 million. Brad's not going to touch him. Myles Garrett, he's not going to even try to trade for him. It's not going to happen. I'm going to make videos about it, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen. Brad Holmes, I'm at the point now, I got to see it to believe it. What else you going to get from me today? Let's talk about it. Raw, filtered, uncut. I'm like BET back in the 90s, the early 2000s. If you know, you know. All right? BET uncut. Old childhood memories, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what we're talking about now. Bradley Matthias Jerome Cornelius Holmes. I have no idea what his middle names are, but I just gave him something because I just felt like it. I'm going to tell you something you ain't going to believe because you don't want to. You don't want to. See, I was the president of SOL. I had to leave that life behind because the Lions earned me to leave it. I had to dissolve the SOL club. I was the president and a client at the same time. The Lions, what you see behind me, studio I'm sitting in that I put in my basement that I've spent thousands of dollars for, you wouldn't have seen that 5 years ago. You wouldn't have seen it, but they earned it. And now you about to see something as well. Brad Holmes, for all the good that he's done, he has 2 years to get this thing together. He has 2 years to take us to a Super Bowl. If he does not, you or somebody you know is going to start to look at him with that Muppet face, with that side eye. That's what you're going to do. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm just telling you the facts, which is what I've always done. Brad Holmes has 2 seasons to make it to a Super Bowl. Why you say that, Derek? I'll tell you. See, what I'm saying is based off of facts. It's based off of stats. But Derek, you get so emotional. That's true. But behind that emotion are numbers. 100% stats. Brad Holmes, we didn't talk about it on this channel because I've been MIA. My apologies. We're going to, let's have some fun here. Let's take a look at, let's talk about Brad Holmes' draft picks. And let's look at the 4 draft picks or drafts that he's had. If you know this, put it in the comment section. We look at the first 2 drafts. We got to exclude that first one because he was working with what he had. He had 5 picks. He flipped it to 7. Out of those 7 picks, he got a foundational piece in Penei Sewell, a foundational piece in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got some other players, Derek Barnes. He got some players. Not a back end, Jamar Jefferson, those type of guys. They're not on the team anymore. So he did what he could with year 1. I applaud him for that. Year 2. Can't miss prospect in Aiden Hutchinson. You take him. You take Jamison Williams, which you guys might remember I had an absolute fit when we traded up to get him. Not the player, it was the pick. The fact that our D-line sucked back then, and we didn't do anything about it. We took Josh Pasco. No disrespect to Josh Pasco, but we took Josh Pasco, right? We take Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil was year 2, so he was the next round. So we tried. We did some things. Now we're at 2023. We take Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, in a draft that we could have taken Jalen Carter. Now, wasn't a fan of Jalen Carter off the field, had some issues, some questions about him. The Lions interviewed him like they do everybody, all other prospects. And a lot of you in the comment section, and a lot of you right now still would take Jalen Carter. We passed on him. We took Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe if Brad wanted a guy, remember that dude? I like you and I want you. If Brad wanted to draft Jalen Carter and Jahmyr Gibbs, he could have. There are some people we miss out on. Do we get Brian Branch, Sam Laporta? Do we get Jack Campbell? I know Jack is not an option. Some people was talking about we took Jack too early. The second half of the 2023 draft, all projects. Starting with Broderick Martin. The list goes on and on. 2024. How many people can you name from the draft that were impactful? Only one. His name is Terrion Arnold. And you could debate on whether or not he was impactful. He was forced to start due to the injury from Emmanuel Mosley. Everyone else in the 2024 draft was a future player. So if you follow me, 2021, we're going to give him a pass. 2022, he did his thing. 2023, half the draft was impact, half was starters. Half was for the future. And all but one pick in 2024 were for the future. But we're building through the draft. Okay, if you're drafting for the future, that's what you're doing, right? You're building through the draft. Now, what I didn't hear people say this season was we're rebuilding. Nobody said that. No, I didn't see that at all. 2023, that's all you saw. That's all you saw. 2024, I didn't see it one time. People thought because where we went in 2023, the expectations were to be there or beyond that in 2024. What happens? So after 4 drafts, 2.5 or a draft and a half are all projects. All projects. And let's not forget, in year 2, James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Mitchell in the 5th round. Nobody talks about that stuff. Now, not every general manager hits every pick, but you got to be good in free agency. You got to be good in the draft. You put the two together. As much as I despise this guy right now, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was not a good fit for our team, but he was a great fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. And now he's sitting over there with a Super Bowl. You know who else is over there? Former Detroit Lion, Darius Slay. Now, Brad Holmes had nothing to do with that. That was our old guy. But the time is going to run out for Brad Holmes. I don't know how many people outside of Spirit of Detroit podcast might say this, but I'm going to be the one to say it. Somebody else could come in and finish the job. Don't act like we haven't seen it before. Because, see, you and I, we're going to be here after he's gone. The question is he going to do enough to stay around for another 4 years? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. See, I told y'all before, the gloves is off, man. Kickboxer, final fight, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the other guy. Honey on the hands, glass. That's where I'm at. This Brad Holmes, he got a lot of work to do. And I'm going to be here when he not. I hope he's here, but I'm going to be around long after him. It ain't my job to fix the team. It's my job to talk about it. But now it's his job to fix this D-line and his job alone. A lot of you guys have been glossing over it. What do they say? The kids say glazing. Is that what they say nowadays? But I think you're starting to see now, ain't you? You're starting to see how it's only so much glaze we can put on that donut. This falls on Brad Holmes. All the good. This doesn't undo or undervalue the good that he's done. But to win it all, you got to have the best of both worlds. You got to have a good free agency. You got to have a great draft. And they got to connect. Let me know what you think. Now, yeah, I don't want C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was the right fit for there. All right, let me pick. What's up, Kira? What's good with you? Okay, J-Love, what we talking about, Miles Garrett? Okay, so listen. Here we go. Chicago, I apologize. Let's give Chicago a free comment. All right, he can comment for free because somebody, David, Chicago, the only time that you remove comments from a Chicago Bears fan is if they pay, that's fine. If they troll and pay, then you can remove them. All right. If they're disrespectful, trolling is fine. They paid to troll. Disrespectful, then we getting them out of here. Outside of that, so Motor City Sports Talk probably think Brad on the clock. You know what? Dolo offered, CJ, CJ Goodfella. Absolutely. So yeah, that's my bad. I forgot about CJ. He been in the space a long time. He was doing it before me 100%. Yeah, that's him. The heck is Tongue Po? Hey, Jersey. Congratulations. Got your email. Congratulations. Y'all deserve it. Way to get it done. And yeah, I emailed you back. So got super emotional when you let me know that. And if there's anything I can do, let me know. All right. So where we at? Kiera, how you doing? Says Brad needs to lean on Chris Spielman more when drafting defensive players because he's lacking in that area. Sergey says, hey, Derek, can we talk about that with the cap space picked? I like James Houston and CJ. Shift Guy says, no more projects. I think Brad is out of time. He's out of time for project picks. Every time I say project picks, I think of Project Check by Juvenile or Cash Money, whatever it was. We could have had their other DT too. Who? Jordan Davis? Mr. S says we can do it the easy way. I'm not sure what that means. What's your infinity with Broderick Martin? Okay, Kevin. All right, can anybody put in the comment section why I have a problem? Oh, Tong Po. That's his name. Yeah. I couldn't remember his name. What's up, J-Rod? All right. Does anybody know what my infatuation is with Broderick Martin? What's my infinity? There we go. Chappelle Show, member of Lion Syndicate, rocking with your boy quite a while. We traded up and he's trash. That is the entire answer. If Broderick Martin, here, and there's a third aspect too, Chappelle. You're 100% right. I'm going to add something to it. In a year that we know we need defensive players in free agency, can anybody tell me who did we put on a defensive line in free agency? So I'm talking about March, when free agency opened in 2023. Who did we sign to the D-line? Can anybody tell me? Don't look it up, because I can look it up, and I am going to look it up. Who did we sign in free agency on the D-line? I don't know. In free agency on the do line. Kiera says we traded up to get, nope, 2023. 2023. Who did we sign in free agency on the defensive line in 2023? Let me see. Where we at? Hatter says you've been preaching D-line for years. We need a D-line. Like, hey, Hatters, you've been with me from the beginning, bro. You literally know from the beginning. I'm talking about with the DSA. I remember me and the other homie, we used to sit there and go back and forth. The round table. We talking about, we going, man, that seemed like it was so long ago. We going way back. We going the birth of Detroit Lions sports talk on, or sports talk in general. Like, there was no Woodward Sports. There was a couple other people doing it before me, but that was the beginning. All right. Okay. So, Detroit Lions, hold on. I'd rather go to Pride of Detroit. So, let's see. All right. Okay. You know what? This is a fair question. Somebody in the chat asked me what was my issue with Broderick Martin. And I want to be very clear. I don't have an issue with Broderick Martin. I have an issue that he was drafted by the Detroit Lions, where he was drafted at, why we drafted him, the fact that we gave up a fourth and 2/5 in a year that we obviously needed an immediate player on the D-line. Now, when Broderick Martin was drafted, I didn't know who he was, so I didn't know what he was going to do. I assumed that the Detroit Lions, since they traded up in a year that we didn't do anything in free agency that I remember, and we hadn't done anything in the draft up to that point on the defensive line, which has been the Lions' Achilles heel, period, since Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell has gotten there. Now, the secondary, a lot of people, the secondary is how the key to, no, it ain't. The Eagles did me a favor. They made my job much easier, because some of you not going to like it, but the majority of you are now with me. You understand what I've been saying for 4 years since they got here. You understand my Jamison Williams reaction in 2022. You understand my Ennis Rakestraw reaction in 2024. You understand, and now I'm going to help you understand my issue with the Broderick Martin pick. Probably a great guy, nice guy. I remember watching him get drafted. He didn't even know. He was on the 6th floor. He had to run downstairs when they told him that he was drafted. The brother did not expect to be drafted. We didn't even know who he was. That's not his fault. But whose fault is it that the D-line was not addressed properly? What would you say is the best pick on the defensive line? Aiden Hutchinson, and he literally fell in our lap. If Brad Holmes wouldn't have drafted Hutch, we would have had a problem. Think about, just stay with me now. Think about Hutch being on a different team. Think about the Detroit Lions without Aiden Hutchinson. Oh, you saw that, didn't you? Oh, you mad because I'm styling on. You saw it. You saw what the Lions pass rush looks like without Aiden Hutchinson. My issue with Broderick Martin, I asked a question. What do we do in 2023 to address the defensive line? And I'm going to show you. This is coming from prior to Detroit. This is what the Lions did in 2023 as far as free agency, prior to Detroit. We're looking specifically for the defensive line. Absolutely nobody. We did not add anyone after that first pass. Acquired via trade, no one. Released Michael Brockers. We traded no one away. Who did we re-sign? Isaiah Buggs. Shout out to the comment section. John Kaminsky. Austin Bryant left the team. Benito Jones. Demetrius Taylor. Do I have to say more? Later that year, we got this. With the 96th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Broderick Martin. That's what we did in free agency. We hadn't drafted a defensive lineman into the third round, and we traded up to get a guy that was not impactful. Now you see what my problem is? You didn't remember. Somebody in the comment section put Benito Jones, Isaiah Buggs. You were right. The rest of y'all didn't even know. J-Rod said, I said Buggs and Kaminsky. And J-Rod Kaminsky was already on the team. He was already on the team. We wind up extending him. But it does count. So you take the free agency period we had and the draft that we had in 2023, and you get my reaction to drafting Broderick Martin. Now let's add a little flair to this segment. This year, because I want to know, what did the Detroit Lions do in 2024? So you got Broderick Martin. You expect him to be an immediate impact player. What does he do? Oh boy. This one is going to get. So this is what we did. Now I will say we signed Matthew Betts. 1-year deal. He didn't even make the team. We signed Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Kyle Pecco. Traded for Carlton Davis. Bro, this is laughable. You literally see a neglect of the D-line. As a matter of fact, this is the most that Brad Holmes has done. Oh, James Houston. This is the most that Brad has done in a free agency period since he's been here. Because Romeo was already on the team when he got here. Julian was already team because our old coach drafted him. Now you see what my problem is with B-Mark? Braylon said Benito Jones. Now you see what my problem is? I've been saying this for 4 years. There's an obvious neglect. Now, it's easy on Brad Holmes at the beginning because our secondary sucked. Remember that? Remember the days of Jerry Jacobs and those guys? Our secondary was trash. But it all starts in the trenches. And the Philadelphia Eagles showed you that yesterday. They showed you that, or I should say, whenever you're watching this video, they showed you that Super Bowl Sunday. There is no more discussion. There is no more discussion of what needs to be done for the Detroit Lions. Brad has favored the offense. He's favored the secondary. He has neglected to properly address the defensive line. I don't have to say it. You see it. Oh, that's a bar. I don't have to say it. You see it. See, my goal has never to be liked in this space. It's about to be talked about the Detroit Lions. I started this. I started ranting. That's how I got my start on YouTube. Now we see what needs to be done. I saw it a long time ago. The question is, does your general manager see it? But here's a better question. Is it too late to fix it? Is it too late to fix the D-line? Because we need a lot of work on that D-line. John Kaminsky may not be back. Levi may not be back. I think we keep Pascal. Aleem McNeil is going to start the season on injured reserve. That D-line is worse than it was going into 2024. What is he going to do? He got a lot of work to do. He cannot miss. Brad Holmes can't miss. He don't have the luxury of missing in the 2025 NFL draft and free agency. You cannot miss. Because if you miss, you're going to get more of these results. Let me know what you think. DJ Reader was the best defensive lineman we got. I agree. We need proven NFL talent on this defense. The offense is already top 5. Kiera, I agree with that as well. Slay, Quandre Diggs, Calvin Noy, mentor depth pieces. Slay could be number 2 to play iffy. So I've been seeing J-Rod about Darius Slay coming back. I personally don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to come back. I don't even know how I would feel about him coming back. I mean, I don't think it was that good, to be honest with you. But Darius Slay, this is what I've said about Darius Slay, and you can go check the tape, bro. I've said that Darius Slay was his play, his hype came around the D-line. That's when Darius Slay is at his best, it's because his D-line is getting to the quarterback. If you go back in Detroit, when we had Ndamukong Suh and all that stuff, Darius Slay, I think he retires. I know he said he's going to come back for one more year, but I think he might have a discussion with his wife and his family. He got his Super Bowl, took his entire career. And if I'm Darius Slay, I go out on top. Unless I really think the team could repeat. Now, here's what I do. And we're going to talk about this too. You know what? I'll wait that. I'll save that. But I think there is a chance that Darius Slay comes back if the Eagles make a specific move, and we'll talk about that. Braylon says this is laughable. Did we pay Aleem too much? We'll see. We'll see. I'm not even trying to be negative. I really don't see Brad making any good moves for the D-line. Chappelle Show? Neither am I. Neither, I'm with you. Neither, you see my demeanor is different. Right now, I don't know how excited I am for the 2025 season. I don't. And if Brad Holmes does not move, if he doesn't do anything, we're not going to win. We're not going to win it all. Stack the team with talent and worry about the contracts later. Salary cap isn't for savings, for a saving account. It's to pay Super Bowl quality players. I like that. Slay had stout defensive line. He's a solid corner, but not a lockdown corner. That's what I mean, Paint. I mean, like Darius Slay, you think he Darrelle Revis. Like he think he is Darrelle Revis. And I'm like, bruh, you ain't Darrelle. You ain't, Champ Bailey. You ain't them guys. I used to call him one play Slay. He was a big play Slay. I called him one play Slay because he's a product of his defensive line. You put a good D-line and Darius Slay can cause some havoc. You put him out there on an island, he going to get burnt. That's the way it is. No, we paid Jared Goff too much. Ooh. Well, whose fault is that? Oh, the Super Bowl logo, I saw that. Man. I did see that. All right, so let's talk about it. Myles Garrett has requested a trade. It's been a long time since we've been on, and this has been a subject that I've been wanting to talk about. Myles Garrett has requested a trade. I thought that the Detroit Lions would be number 1 on this list. Now I don't know. As a matter of fact, I do know. I don't think they are. In what world would you choose the Detroit Lions over the Philadelphia Eagles? I love my team. You see the lion behind me. You see the shirt. You watch the channel. I'm starting to believe that Myles Garrett goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles allow Josh Sweat to walk in free agency. I don't even think Brad Holmes signs him. But, meaning Josh Sweat. Myles Garrett requested a trade last Monday, the 3rd the beginning of Super Bowl week, all strategic. That was the beginning of Radio Row. He made his rounds. It caused, I've made a billion videos about Myles Garrett because, as you guys know, Myles Garrett is the number one pass rusher that I would, if we could acquire, it would be him. It would be him. Then it would be TJ Watt. Then it would be Trey Hendrickson. And number 4 is your guy, Max Crosby. I know you guys love him, but for me, he would be number 4. Maybe 5 if I could think of somebody else. No disrespect to Max, but I'm taking Miles all day. To me, they're not even in the same league, but they better than anything outside of Aiden Hutchinson when it comes to rushing the passer. I think Myles Garrett goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you watch Radio Row, I think it's going to be a NFC East team. I know that Andrew Berry said, he's been saying he's not going to trade him. How many times have we heard that? I don't buy that for 1 second because Andrew Berry has a job to do as well. And if he's smart, the same way Brad Holmes was in trading away Matthew Stafford. And that is how we built our team. So I got to give him some love there. The only issue that I have with Brad Holmes is his neglect of the D-line, which we have been diving in deep about. There's another thing that Brad Holmes is not very good at either, and that's trading for wide receivers. It's true. Trinity Benson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, not a good. I question what he's doing, but he lets Josh Reynolds walk. Now Tim Patrick was somebody who fell in our lap. A lot of you start breaking down Brad Holmes, you like, yo, you got people that fall in your lap, and what we doing? So how much of it is talent and strategy? How much of it is you really know what you're doing, and how much is somebody fell in your lap? There is no way in the world we passed on Hutch if he was there. And he was, and we took him. He is the cornerstone of our defense. In back-to-back drafts, we got the cornerstone pieces in Penei Sewell for the offense and Hutch for the defense. But I think that Myles Garrett goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Kira says, if it's not the Eagles, it's the Commanders, so they can compete against the Eagles. That's very true. That's very true. Why do I think that he goes to the Philadelphia Eagles? Why not? They just won a Super Bowl. They're going to lose probably because they're not going to be able to keep probably Sweat and trade for Myles Garrett. Jalen Hurts is the biggest cap hit at $20 million on their entire team for 2025. Howie Roseman is a risk taker. He took Jalen Carter. When 8 of the teams did, including our Detroit Lions. He's a risk taker. Brad Holmes is not. Brad Holmes plays it safe. Myles Garrett, in my opinion, has no reason to choose Philly or Detroit over Philly. Not when you're coming off a Super Bowl. I would love to be biased in this situation. And I'm not being negative. From what I saw yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles are the class of the NFC. And that is me talking as a non-biased fan. I think that we're up there, but they are the class. I think I can say that I feel like we're second. If I look at the NFC as a whole, you going into 2024, San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, lost one, won one. But they are the class of the NFC. We're not there yet. Myles Garrett will help us get there. I don't think he comes here because I don't know why he would pick us over them when they're literally coming off a Super Bowl. They have a quarterback who's dynamic. He mentioned that too. No disrespect to my guy, our guy. We don't have a mobile dynamic quarterback. They also have Saquon Barkley. We got Jahmyr Gibbs. Ironic they both were the same number. Ironic that Saquon put him in the top 3 in running backs, in his opinion. Myles Garrett might be a pipe dream, and after Super Bowl Sunday, he might be a distant, unreachable, because I don't think he comes to the Detroit Lions if it's up to him. But it's not up to him. It's up to the Cleveland Browns, and it begins with them. I would assume that they're going to take him in consideration, but I don't think it's up to him. We'll see. Let me know what you think. I think the Myles Garrett dreams is, I'm still going to talk about it because that's what I do, but I don't think he lands with the Detroit Lions anymore. Okay, Braylon DM me the free agent pick, says take a look at it. Man, we have been on for almost an hour. That's crazy. We got to get off in an hour, bro. Like, we got to do that. But so let's do this. Jersey, email me again. I want to share some information with you. But we'll do this. For the last 10 minutes of the show, let's talk about some things. Whatever you want to talk about, man, put it in the comment section. J-Rod says, Ojulari or Quay Walker Uche. Well, J-Rod, if you mean Quay Walker from the Green Bay Packers, based on Brad Holmes and his track record, we ain't going nowhere near him. Super emotional, pushing people. Every time we play them, he always in the media for the wrong reasons. Like, he always on the broadcast for the wrong reasons. So based off of his track record, I'm going to say no. But there are some other guys as well. Uche, yup. You know, I forgot about Uche. Here's what I see Brad Holmes doing. Josh Sweat is too rich for his blood. We take one of those guys. Ojulari, he might get franchise tag. We'll know very soon. I think he would sign Khalil Mack 1 or 2 year deal. Look at Brad Holmes' track record. He doesn't like 3-year deals. He gave a 3-year deal to Cam Sutton. Very few people have 3-year deals from Brad Holmes. It's 1, 2, a lot of prove it stuff. Khalil Mack on the tail end of his career, he might take a 1 year. I feel like he takes a 2. Khalil Mack, that's who I see being a Detroit Lion. 34 years old. You know how Brad like him. Mid-30s, late 30s, early 30s. He's on the team. Maybe Uche, maybe not. Then we draft somebody. That's what we're going to do. Bills, Eagles, or Commanders, I got my eye on Trey Hendrickson. Quay Walker is a loose cannon. Okay, I heard that too. Uche or Trey Hendrickson. You see Quentin Williams might want out of New York. Shiv God, 2 years ago, that would have been a sweet fantasy. It's not a reality right now, to me. It's not a reality. And I don't know, man. If he was to trade from Quentin Williams, I would have a fit. I really would, because it all comes back to Broderick Martin. It really does. If you would have used that 4th round pick on maybe somebody like St. Brown, Myles Garrett was Max Crosby was a 4th round pick. Now you see my problem with trading up for Broderick Martin? Come on, y'all. I'm getting emotional. I couldn't control it all show. Max Crosby was a 4th round pick. If we traded for a defensive tackle, whoever the caliber, if his name is not Chris Jones, I might feel some type of way. And Quentin Williams is a dog. I made several videos about him. Is a dog. That'd be kind of crazy, though, Jay, because Aaron Glenn just went over there. Aaron Rodgers is on his way out. I don't know. We signed multiple players, which is why we don't do a Garrett deal. J-Rod, that's true. We also don't do it because Brad Holmes don't think it's necessary. He don't think it's necessary. He gonna get it. I'm telling you, we gonna get bargain bin people. Don't be surprised if Marcus Davenport returns. Don't be surprised. He might not be a starter, but don't be surprised. 1 year deal, $4 million, $3 million. Watch it happen. Which I don't mind as a depth piece. I don't mind that as a depth piece. Watch it happen. I'm to the point where Brad Holmes got to prove me wrong more than I got to, prove him right. He got to prove me wrong. What's up? Jack says, hey, Derek, I would like to join your live shows sometime so I could get your email address so we could get things figured out, like a questionnaire thing I would have. Okay, Jack, you mean like as a guest or what do you mean? And if so, I gotta get it where, and I'm trying to do this during the off season. So the software that I use, along with the mixer I use, the way that they talk to each other, my guest hears an echo. And so I've been on the, emailing the software people and the mixer people to figure out why that happens and how to fix it. So let me know. Um, wait a minute. J. Rod says or Cray or Crosby. Nobody was drafting Martin. That was crazy or Vaki. I swear our DE is coming from the draft, not free agency. David, you're right. We gonna get one in free agency. We gonna have to get one but that's what you would think. I've literally thought that for 4 years. Or I would say 3 years. Hutch was like a guy you can't miss on, and we sucked that the year before, so we was like, oh, and we played our way out of that game, right? That pick, the Jacksonville. I think it came down to like the last game of the season. Jacksonville lost, we won, we beat the Packers. Excuse me. That's when we beat Aaron Rodgers. No, that might have been year 2. Dang, bro, my computer might be time to update. I got another computer to update, but my memory keeps going out. So, yeah, that's a problem. I might have to change. But I hear you, and that's where we're at. Davenport is here or Jets, Uche AG or MCDC. Who do you think Myles Garrett will play for next season? Laquita, I think he goes to the Eagles. There's no reason why he shouldn't. Only reason he wouldn't is because the Browns are like, nope, we're not going to let that happen. We're not sending you to a powerhouse. But the Detroit Lions are an offensive powerhouse. I'm starting to think that I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll say this, and I wanted to make a segment, but I also want to get off in an hour. The Lions, according to one betting site, I forgot which one it is, their Super Bowl odds are 5th. Where you at with that? Because I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I don't know, like, maybe like as a guest, like talk to you with the mic, verbal. Okay, yeah, we can figure it out, man. Because I plan to have more guests on the show. We trade Rodrigo for Ojulari. I feel our craft loves Rodrigo. Okay, so J-Rod, there's no way I'm doing that because he's a free agent. So if we traded for him, means that they franchise tagged him. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. But if they let him walk, absolutely. And listen, I'm not all on Myles Garrett. Like, I understand that the reality is it's going to be hard to land a guy that is a unicorn. Myles Garrett is a unicorn. And if the Lions could land him, it would be game-changing. But I also know that the odds of them, it's like literally 1 in 31. So I get that. But if Brad can't get a unicorn, then he got to get some stallions or something. He got to get something. Then what Denzel say? I'm leaving here with something. He got to leave here with something, right? That's what we need from Brad Holmes. Myles Garrett is a unicorn. I get it. But we cannot have a free agency and draft like we've been having. Because it's been other defensive ends in other drafts. And Brad is like, nah, we don't need them guys. We don't need them guys. He's like, we don't need them guys. CJ Mosley. Is he a free agent? Brad tried to trade 2 firsts for Debo, do the same for Garrett. Which is crazy. Because, okay, that was year 1, wasn't it? Because that was Debo's 3rd season. And then we took St. Brown. If I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Joseph says, but Myles Garrett said he wanted to help a team get over the hump. The Eagles is already over the hump. That's very true. I don't know if he wants to get a team over the hump or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, y'all. I heard that too. I don't know, though. The Titans are trading the first pick. To who? To who? Who they trading to, bro? Has that come out yet? Okay, Jack. Yeah, that's cool. Cause I plan on like bringing some other people on as well. Well, I don't know, y'all. I don't know if we do it or not. But anyway, y'all, that's the show. It's going to be a rough February. I know. I can already see it, man. The numbers are, well, I've been away from this channel for 3 weeks, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, man. Braylon says, heard a tweet that Titans are open to trading the number 1 pick. Yes. Thank you, B. Yes, I heard that too, but I thought it was already done. Anyway, we out of time. I appreciate y'all, man. We back. And I was going to wait. So I got just a couple updates. I got a new mic flag, and it's on its way. So I was going to wait for the new mic flag to come in. And I got some other stuff, just some simple visual kind of changes. And yeah, I got some stuff coming in for the studio, man. But yeah, we are, the season begins, man. Here we go. And we can start re-signing some players very soon from our team. We can't, if you are on another team, we can't mess with you for a month, right? So it's going to be a fun time. I do believe Myles Garrett gets traded because that's a win. That's a lose-lose situation for Cleveland. He's not going to play, even whether they want him there or not. Says, man, in a few weeks, you're going to be gearing up for game 1. You know what, bro? Like, hey, Dave, I don't know. I'm keeping my season tickets. I'm going to do that. But I'm not there, bro. Like, if Brad, you know, I buy into the hype and all that stuff, but if Brad does nothing for the D-line, I'm going to ride for the season, but I'm not going to expect anything. I'm going to expect we're not going to make the Super Bowl. If he doesn't do this right, we're not going to make the Super Bowl. You saw what a number 1 offense is capable of. Yes, you can't make a mistake. You cannot make a mistake. But you saw what a dog defense does. They put the greatest quarterback of the last 10 years on his butt. He threw a pick 6. They had some crazy stat about Patrick Mahomes and throwing interceptions. Like, that's what Brad needs to do. What's up, Ronan? What's going on? Anyway, have a great day. We back at it, and I'll see y'all on Wednesday. It's going to be tough, y'all, but we here.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.